Welcome back to At Home. We're back here with Tom Vattovaz from Canadian Home Inspections, and we were talking a little bit about the fact that nowadays it seems to be very trendy to flip homes, and you're seeing it more and more, going into older neighborhoods and doing maybe quick fixes on homes and selling them for a heck of a lot more money than they started off with. How do people know? They're walking into these homes and it looks pretty, but there's a lot that maybe, as you say, shoddy work could have been done.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah,
You
below
know,
the surface, right?
Right.
Exactly. It's more cosmetic in nature, so you really don't know what's behind those walls, and it's what's behind those walls that we're kind of looking for. You know, things that have been hidden. Quite often it's related to electrical, plumbing, sometimes attic insulation. So there is a lot of spotty workmanship out there, and the home inspector is kind of trained to look for these issues.
Okay, what are we looking at here?
Here's, for instance, is a situation where somebody put a bathroom on the second floor of a building, and all the plumbing was in a unheated attic area. So what's going to happen is, in this situation, during the course of the winter, these pipes are actually going to freeze, and they are going to allow leakage into the ceiling below, which happens to be a kitchen. This here is taping the vent exhaust pipe for a bathroom, and that's a handyman tape job, and all that wood's going to rot out, so we're going to find a lot of problems with the ceiling and that roof in the future. Here's the let's fix a roof kind of situation.
Let's sort of fix the roof.
Yeah, that's, you know, a lot of tar works. Tar works in a lot of situations. So
It's like gum, right?
It is.
That and Band-Aid.
And duct tape.
Yeah, duct tape. Yeah.
That's definitely going to be a temporary situation, right?
Yes.
All right, what is this?
Yes, if we bring that, if you look at the very, very top, you'll see the pipe is disconnected. Now, this is a hot water tank, so the pipe is disconnected at the very, very top. So the exhaust pipe, the black exhaust pipe, and what's happening is the gases are actually entering back into the house. So this is another hot water tank that has basically been altered, and if you notice, the exhaust simply just goes into the open area behind the furnace in this case, and so it's not really doing. It's actually allowing
into the house.
Carbon monoxide is coming into these two homes. Okay, so these are renovations and alterations that people conduct and don't properly do them. And
do you think it's because they don't know what they're doing, or do they just not care because they're planning to flip the house and it's somebody else's problem, or is it a little bit of both?
Both, yeah.
You know, Matt, I find it's let's get in there quick. Let's do what has to be done or what can get by. But the educated home inspector, he's looking for these things. When I am asked to inspect homes that are being renovated to sell quickly, my eyes are perked up, my ears are perked up. Everything's just on the edge, looking for those, you know, let's get this by kind of situation.
Well, some of the shows that I've been watching, some of the the house flipping shows, you watch these guys come in and they purchase a home and they plan on flipping it. Well, it's funny for them as well. I mean, you'd come in handy before they purchase the home, even, because I've seen where they've torn down walls and all of a sudden realized the house had once been infested with termites, so all the wood has been rotten, or they'll find things that buried in the backyard underneath, like old sewage basins and all kinds of different things. So it would come in handy both ways, because they get all of a sudden really high, hefty prices that have equipment that's going to be very expensive to them, so they don't want to put the money out. They have a budget too, right? So all of a sudden, well, let's just cover it up and hope for the best.
Yeah, it's always good to ask if the permits have been taken out on any alterations that have been conducted in a house that was flipped. Okay, and so that is a very important factor in purchasing a house that's been remodeled to flip.
Okay, do you need permits if you're hiring a contractor that you don't need if you're doing it yourself, or is it all the same? Are permits required no matter what?
That's a great question, because permits come into play for things like wooden decks, any altering of structures, any plumbing renovations, anything to that incorporates even removing a faucet, believe it or not, requires a permit. So permits are very, very important, and if you can find that there is a permit, you know that it's been inspected by a city building official and that the renovations have been done properly. Okay, quite often when there is no permits, you cannot be assured that things have been done properly.
Well, once you move into a home that you've purchased from somebody else that's perhaps flipped it, and you start to discover these things, is there anything that you can do? if you didn't have a home inspector and you've discovered all this stuff and you've kind of been misled, is there anything you can do as a new home buyer?
Yes, it makes the process quite hectic, because usually that's when lawyers get into play, and you want to kind of curtail that. You want to actually get a home inspector. The $300 to $400 could save you literally tens of thousands of dollars. So it's best to just get an inspector who's knowledgeable, and you won't have to worry about that.
You could see that'd be a messy situation for many years, possibly, right?
It is, and quite often it is.
Well, and it's about peace of mind too, right? What a good feeling it is to be confident in the property that you've purchased, going in there knowing that you've had it, inspected from top to bottom, and you know that everything is up to code, up to standard, and ready to move in, right?
Yes, I mean it's a small investment for your largest investment. I don't even know how sometimes people even think of not getting an inspection conducted.
I would think too that if you're looking to buy a home and you tell the seller that you want to get it inspected, and they sort of balk at that idea, right away the alarm bell should be going on, right?
It's fine.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and as the years progress, we are becoming more and more popular in the real estate transaction, and it's going to continue. It's getting to the point where approximately 75 to 80% of homes that are sold out there are getting home inspections conducted.
You're definitely hearing of it more and more often.
Absolutely.
Well, and it's such a big purchase. I mean, it's one of the biggest purchases of your life, right? You're investing so much money into a house. Why would you not spend the $300-400 to make sure that everything is right? It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, when you're making a purchase that's that much money, you want to do all the research, right?
Absolutely.
Especially when you can come across some serious business that's wrong with your home that could cost you tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars to fix. Yeah, just
yeah. And then structure is usually the major component. If there's a furnace that has to be replaced, that's $3,000-4,000. Roof, shingles, $3,000-4,000. Plumbing, $2,000-3,000-4,000. But when it comes to structure, they can inflate to $10,000, $20,000, in some cases $30,000. Okay,
and as the buyer, you can factor all this into the price that you're prepared to pay, right? So then you go back to the person and say, well, look, it needs this, this, and this. I'm going to have to spend on all of this, so I'm backing down my offer to reflect that, and because I'm going to have expenses. Right?
Yeah, and that's where the purchaser would go back with the real estate agent, and they at that point would make a well-informed decision as to which process they're going to take on to purchase this house, if in fact they still want to purchase this house. Okay, so we are educators. At that point, we leave it to the purchaser and the real estate agent to take it to the next level.
Okay, all right, we're going to take a quick break. We have more really valuable information with home inspections, and Tom Vattovaz will be back.